day, moving our way. Suffice to say, we're not here to stay. The games we play, the fuss we make, the reason for living is made clear that day. The angels stand with no demands, 'cause they understand judgment's hand. Not a soul will speak, 'cause they are weak before the true authority. La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillah wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah. Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters, and welcome again to the eternal journey. Today we're going to go on another journey within the eternal journey, and that's the journey of the soul. My name is Hisham and I'm going to be your host today, and with me as a co-host is brother Farouk. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everyone. Now, praise be to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for allowing us to be involved in such a beautiful series.
Alhamdulillah.
Rabbil Alameen. As we talked about before, we have talked about death, and now we want to see what journey our soul will take after death. And it's something which is a reality for all of us who believe, and we realize this. So inshallah today, with our esteemed shuyukh, mashallah, who are going to be teaching us or showing us the right way and the correct belief behind this, inshallah ta'ala. So first and foremost, introducing Sheikh Wasim Kempson. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Mashallah. And Sheikh Saeed Al-Gadi. Assalamu alaikum
Wa alaikum salam. Barakallahu fik Farouk and Hisham. May Allah bless you both.
Barakallahu
Ameen.
fikum.
Ameen.
Before we ask our mashayikh, as we always do,
Now,
we went to the streets and asked people about what they think about the journey of the soul, and what understanding do they have about the journey of the soul. So let's hear what our viewers had to say, inshallah, and then we'll come back and discuss it further in the studio, inshallah. We'll be right back.
I think I know what happens to my soul. Allah will take it and do something with it. I would like to know what happens though. Like, what will happen? Will it be used against me or with me?
Well, I believe when we do die and we're in our graves, the angels will question us.
I mean, the journey from the soul when it departs, from what I've been told from the learned people, or from the hearsay, is when it departs from the soul, it's taken from by the angels, and it goes to Allah, and it's been said, who is this person? Oh, he's a person, son of a so. And if it's a righteous, a good soul, obviously he will lay in his grave, and he will have the fragrance of Jannah until the day of judgment. And if he's not, then he'll have his punishment will start from there, from in his grave.
So that's what people had to say on the streets. Let's go back to our mashayikh, inshallah ta'ala, and get a better understanding of this really, really important part of the internal journey, the journey of the soul. I would like to begin with you, Sheikh Wasim Kempson. Will the believer see the angels at the time of death? Okay. And also, how will his soul be taken at the time of death?
Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salam ala Rasulillah wa ba'd. You know, when we came into this earth, well, this existence that we have now, it's not something that any of us remember.
mm-hmm.
But the leaving this life and onto the next is something that every human being will experience and will have full knowledge of what is happening. And it is on this topic that the Prophet ﷺ explained to us in some detail. And even Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala took it upon himself to talk about the steadfastness that is given to certain people at the time of death, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, يُثَبِّتُ اللَّهُ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا بِالْقَوْلِ الثَّابِتِ فِي الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا وَالْآخِرَةِ. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give a steadfast statement to those who believed in this life and in the hereafter. And many of the scholars of tafsir have explained this correct and firm statement is at the time when the soul is about to be taken from the believer. Now the believer will and try to imagine this, subhanallah al-azim, that when that time of death comes to them, that the believer will see the angels come to them like the brightness of one sees the sun in the sky, beautiful brightness, and that their soul will be taken. And when the soul is removed from the body, that the Prophet ﷺ gave an example, like when one has like a water container, like a jug, and you pour water out of it, that the water comes out flowing, very simple. Like this, the believing soul will leave the believing body. So this is a great ni'mah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and yes, we will be able to see the angels at that time of death. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us from those believing souls.
Ameen.
Now, Sheikh Saeed, you know when the soul is taken out, alhamdulillah, inshallah, we get taken out in that very smooth, and it sounds, I mean, I remember when I was little, I'd put the tap on, and I don't know why, but I'd feel compelled to put my finger under a very slow moving bit of water. I don't know, maybe I'm the only one who did that. And I'd feel the smoothness of the alhamdulillah, of the water. And this is what this reminds me of. So inshallah we get taken out like that. But what will happen to our soul after that? Do we ascend through the heavens? How does that work? What occurs after the soul's taken out?
Well, after, as Sheikh Wasim mentioned just now, that the soul will be taken from the body, and the angel of death will take hold of it. And as soon as he takes hold of her, the other angels will come straight away and place her on shroud of Jannah.
Allahu Akbar.
Subhanallah. And then they will start the journey to the lower heaven. The journey to the heaven. And they will ascend with it. They will take it upwards. And every time they pass by a company of the angels between the heaven and the earth, they will ask, who is this righteous soul? Who's this good soul? Because they will smell its nice smelling, subhanallah. And they will say, and the angels who are accompanying this soul, or who are taking this soul, they will say, so and so, mentioning the best name that he used to be known by in this world. For example, they say, so and so the honest person, so and so the righteous one, so and so the worshipper, so and so the believer, and so on and so forth. The best name that he used to be known by in this world. Imagine the angels are talking about you and are mentioning your best name in this life, and you are taken towards the lowest heaven. And Nabi ﷺ said that as soon as his soul is ascended to the heaven, 70,000 angels will ask Allah Ta'ala to bestow His mercy upon him. SubhanAllah. And as soon as his soul reaches to the lowest heaven, the angels who are carrying this heaven, they will ask permission to go through to the lowest heaven. They will ask, the angels, the guards will ask, who is this soul? They will say, so and so. They will open for him.
Allahu Akbar.
Okay? And then, subhanAllah, look at this. From each sky or heaven to the next heaven, the best people, the most beloved people to Allah Ta'ala will escort him, will go with him until he reaches to the next heaven. Until he reaches to the seventh heaven.
So is this the same heavens that the Prophet, peace be upon him, went through in
They are
Miraj?
the same heavens, yeah.
Allahu Akbar.
And he will go through them all. And the best people, the best beloved creation of Allah Ta'ala will escort him until he reaches the seventh heaven, in which Allah Ta'ala will say, write the book of my slave in Halliyin. Write register the book of my slave in the highest place. And return his soul to earth. Because I decree that they will return back to earth until the day of judgment.
Because we were made from the earth, Shaykh.
Exactly, yeah. And then his soul will return back to his body in the grave after this long journey. And then he will be questioned in the grave.
SubhanAllah, such great honor.
May Allah bestow it on us all. Say Ameen.
Ameen, SubhanAllah. You know, listening to this is like so much honor that the soul, the believing soul will have.
Exactly.
Honor after honor after honor, SubhanAllah, placed upon it. So may Allah make us from those.
Ameen. May Allah give us the patience to wait, keep on the right path till we get there.
Ameen, inshallah ta'ala. Shaykh Wasim, once the soul returns back to the grave, what will happen?
This is, an honored journey for the believing soul, and it is a realization, a real reality for that soul to go through and see all of that. That when the soul is then returned to the body, they will have a desire to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and be in the paradise, having gone through that amazing journey. So they have this urge within themselves, and they will want Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bring the day of judgment, bring it forward, so that I can be with my family and I can be with my beloved. At this time when the soul is returned to the body, it is the questioning. It is the questioning. And the two angels, Munkar and Nakir, these are the angels who ask all people 3 questions. 3 questions. For the believer, that they are able to answer these questions. Man Rabbuk, who is your Lord? Ma Dinuk, what is your religion? Waman Nabiyuk, and who is your prophet? The disbelieving soul will be asked these questions, will not be able to answer those questions. Only the believing soul, and we go back to the verse that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned earlier, that Allah Azza wa Jalla will give that firm statement, that many of the Mufassirun said this is at this time as well, that they will have that firm statement, they will know the answers, and they will say it with conviction. There are those who think that they can play games and maybe trick, that I will learn the answers now, and that when that time comes, I will be able to answer those questions correctly. But the reality is that they won't be able to answer those questions. Only the true believer, Allah Azza wa Jal will give that tawfiq, will give the success to that believing soul to answer those questions. It is not somebody can cheat their way to the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You cannot cheat. You cannot cheat Allah Azza wa Jal.
More subhanAllah, Shaykh Wasim, the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam explained to the companions how the angels will approach the person in his grave. And he told them that as soon as one of you is placed on his grave, 2 angels carrying with them a hammer, a big hammer, that if 2 tribes of you try to attempt to carry it, they won't be able to carry it. Okay? And they will come in a very serious way. So the companions said, O Messenger of Allah, no one of us was to be approached in such approach unless we become very scared and terrified.
Yes.
He told them, then Allah Ta'ala will keep firm those who used to be believing in Him by the word that stands firm. As Shaykh mentioned just now in the verse, يثبت الله الذين آمنوا بالقول الثابت. Allah Ta'ala will keep firm those who believe in Him by the word that stands firm. They will be able to answer with firm answers. But a person who sees an angel like this coming to him in the grave, he may think that they are his Lord. And he'll be hesitant, of course. Yeah.
May Allah Ta'ala allow us to prepare for this moment. Jazakallah khair. We're going to have to stop very briefly for a short break. Don't go anywhere, brothers and sisters. We are going to resume straight after this. So, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Imagine a day moving away. Suffice to say, we're not here to stay.
Huda TV's social media sites are the best way to contact us from anywhere around the world. Stay connected with Huda TV's latest news and programs through Facebook, Twitter, Google+, YouTube, Skype, and Instagram. It's fast and easy. Stay up to date with your favorite shows and scholars today. Huda TV, a light in every home.
Imagine a day moving away. Suffice to say, we're not here to stay.
Jazakumullahu khair. For those of you who stayed with us, mashallah, we have returned after that very short break. Now, we was talking, alhamdulillah, about the grave of a believer. And the next question, which I'm very excited about, alhamdulillah.
Same here.
This moment excites me, mashallah, especially because Allah's given me a chance to be a believer. Praise be to Allah. And Sheikh, my question is, what will the grave of a believer be like? What's the decor? Tell us all about it. Bismillah.
Subhanallah. We mentioned previously that the person is asked a number of questions in the grave, and the believer is the only one who's going to be able to answer those questions correctly. Upon answering those questions correctly, does it end there? No, it's just like the beginning, if you like. At that time, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will show him or her a place in Jahannam, the hellfire.
Allahu Akbar.
And it will be said to that person, you are not here, and it will be replaced with a place from the Jannah that he will see. This is your abode in the Jannah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created the Jannah and created the hellfire, and they exist now. And there is a place in each of those that any one person may go to. Allah Azza wa Jalla created the paradise large enough for every single person. Likewise Jahannam. So you may go to one of those 2 places. We all ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us from the inhabitants of the Jannah. So, upon answering those questions correctly, what a great ni'mah is that this is what you've been saved from. This is what you struggled for, you strived for, that you woke up in the morning, you're able to answer these questions correctly. This is taken away from you. And you'll be shown your place in the Jannah, and your grave will become like like from the gardens of the paradise. As we believe in the punishment of the grave, many people talk about adhab al-qabr,
Yes.
punishment of the grave. There is there's something called na'im al-qabr, the blessings of the grave as well.
Yes.
So that the person will have this widening of the grave, whereas maybe the punishment may be something very different, very closed upon them, a widening of the Jannah. The time that they will spend in the grave will pass very, very quickly.
Will we be active in the grave though? Like, for example, we're just going to be sitting there, relaxing, so to speak, as a believer, in the garden, decoration of the garden of Jannah, or will we be active?
It's very important that when we draw analogies, that the life of the barzakh is not like the life we have now. Like we're
Yes.
sitting on the sofa now, we may be at home sitting in our bed and we are relaxing, and the life of the grave is something completely different. We have a different existence. We don't have the same needs. We don't have the same existence in a sense. So it is a place that a person will feel tranquility, will feel peace. Although we may see it, there's dirt and there's a body underneath there. And the corpse is, to be honest, is a corpse that is rotting in the earth and is returning to that dust.
Mm-hmm.
However, that person may be receiving a na'im, a blessing that is it is unimaginable to us. So it is important for us to always keep these things in mind. The life of the grave is something specific. The reality is unknown to us, but there something, the great blessings Allah Azza wa Jalla will give us.
Picking up from that,
Allah.
Picking up from that, Jazakallahu khairan, Sheikh. I mean, Sheikh Saeed, will the person stay by themselves in the grave? Will they be only by themselves? Will there be anyone else with them? And you think anyone to accompany them?
Very good question, Nishan. Barakallah feek. Subhanallah, as soon as a person finish with the questions, once the angels finish with you the questions, and the beginning of the reward or the punishment starts, one of the rewards for the believer is that he will see a man with a handsome man with a beautiful garment coming to him, and he will ask him, "Who are you? By Allah, your face comes with glad tidings. Who are you?" He will say to him, "Rejoice in that which delights you. This is the day which you were promised. I am your good deeds, and I will stay with you until the day of judgment."
Allah.
Subhanallah. So your deed will come and stay with you until the day of judgment, and it will come in the form of a man, a very handsome man, a man who has nice garment, and so on and so forth, and he will stay with you until the establishment of the hour. On the other side, if you are a wicked person, wrongdoer, a man with a hideous face will come to you, and he will say, "Who are you? Your face come with the bad tidings." And he will say to you, "I'm your bad deeds. I'm your evil actions." And he will stay with you till the day of judgment. So what will stay with you you won't be alone. You're not going to be alone. You will be with your deeds.
Allah.
Subhanallah.
So mate, let's try and get as many good deeds as we can.
Ensure that you have good deeds. Yes.
So
you have good deeds, yeah, of course.
SubhanAllah, so we're not alone with someone who's hideous, inshallah. May Allah make it easy for us, inshallah. Because you mentioned now the disbeliever, his plight, right, with the companion. What's his state when he dies? How's his soul taken out?
SubhanAllah, Faruq, you've touched a very important point here. And Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam described this in detail. He said that when the disbeliever, when he departs from this life and proceeds to the hereafter, this person whom his life is attached to this life, this person whom his soul is attached to this life, a person who worked very hard to live in this life, following his desires and following his whims. This person, when his soul is departing from this life and proceeding to the hereafter, what he will see? Angels with dark faces will descend from the heaven, carrying with them a cloth from the fire, a rough hair cloth. And he will see them, and they will stay a sight distance from him. Then the angel of death will come and sit at his head, and he will say to him, "Foul soul, bad soul, come out to the wrath and anger of Allah." Subhanallah. Imagine that you are there, and the angel of death is saying to you this, "Bad soul, come out to the wrath and anger of Allah." How would you feel? Subhanallah. And then that soul, because it loves this life, it likes this life, and it is attached to this life, this soul will not come out. It will scatter within his body. It will be divided up within his body. It won't come out.
Yeah.
It will insist to stay in this life, but he won't leave it.
Allah musta'an.
He will take it out in a harsh manner, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran described. وَلَوْ تَرَى إِذِ الظَّالِمُونَ فِي غَمَرَاتِ الْمَوْتِ. If you can see the wrongdoers at the agonies of death. وَالْمَلَائِكَةُ بَاسِطُوا أَيْدِيهِمْ. And the angels are stretching their hands. أَخْرِجُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ. Deliver your souls. Let your soul comes out.
SubhanAllah.
اليوم تجزون عذاب الهون. Today you will taste the torment of of Allah's punishment. So they won't leave it. He will drag it like dragging a skewer from a wet piece of wool. He will drag it very harshly, subhanallah ta'ala. And once he takes hold of it, the other angels won't leave it in his hand. They will come quickly and place it on that cloth of rough hair and cloth of fire. And then they will ascend with it.
Jazakallahu khairan, Sheikh Wasim, Sheikh Saeed, barakallahu fiqh, subhanallah. It's totally contrary to the believer.
Yeah.
It's totally contrary to what we heard before the break about the believer, subhanallah. Sheikh Wasim, is it the same as what we said about the believer, the angels will ascend to the heavens and the honor that we mentioned for the believer? Will the disbeliever have anything similar, or will they actually ascend to the heavens or not?
Yeah. Just as the believer is taken up, the same process is with the disbelieving soul, with this foul stenching piece of material raising up. And as he is moving up, this disbelieving soul, that the people, or rather the malaika, the angels say, who is this evil soul, this cursed soul? And they will say to so-and-so, and they will mention him by the evil names that he used to be known by. So then the soul is taken up smelling, and people, the malaika rather, saying bad things about this evil soul, about what they were known about, until they reach the heaven. And permission is sought for this soul to be taken into the heaven, and it is denied.
Allahu Akbar.
It is denied. It is
La
not,
ilaha illallah.
the disbelieving soul does not receive any form of na'im, does not receive any form of blessing at all. It is denied entry into the heavens. And then it is then commanded that its name is to be declared as Allah subhanahu in Sijjin, in the lowest of registers of evil people. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us that is لا يدخلون الجنة, that it will not enter into the paradise, this disbelieving soul. And then the soul, its foul stenching, is then returned to the body, and then it faces the questions. It is unable to answer the questions. It is, as the Sheikh mentioned earlier, that it is faced with this very scary looking person, and it is a representation of their deeds. And as we will maybe mention later, the punishment of the grave then begins for that disbelieving soul.
So it's humiliation after humiliation after humiliation for the soul. Sheikh Saeed, what will happen to the soul after it's returned back to the body? So this is the soul of the disbeliever. It's returning back to the body. We know that for the believer, the soul will come in a slow manner, and it will full enjoyment.
Yes, subhanAllah. I just would like to add to the important topic that Sheikh Wasim had just touched, that this believer, when he reaches to the heaven, or the Sheikh just mentioned that he will be denied. Just imagine that, subhanAllah, that you are that person, that wrongdoer, and the angels are asking permission for you to go through the lowest heaven, okay, and you are denied this. And the Nabi sallallahu recited the verse when he mentioned the hadith. He said, إن الذين كذبوا بآياتنا واستكبروا عنها لا تفتح لهم أبواب السماء. Those who belied our verses and they were arrogant, they were disbelieving in our revelation, or they were wrongdoers, the gates of heaven will not be open for them.
لا إله إلا الله.
ولا يدخلون الجنة, and they won't enter Jannah. حتى يلج الجمل في سم الخياط, until the camel passes through the eye of the needle.
لا إله إلا الله.
That means
Impossible.
impossible for them. Subhanallah ta'ala.
Yes.
So therefore, and then his soul will be flung down, thrown to his body. And the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam recited the verse, وَمَنْ يُشْرِكْ بِاللَّهِ, whoever associates anything in the worship of Allah Ta'ala, فَكَأَنَّمَا خَرَّ مِنَ السَّمَاءِ, it is like as it being thrown from the heaven. فَتَخْطَفُهُ الطَّيْرُ, the birds are snatching him, or the wind are sweeping him in a far place. This person, when he returns back, then he will be questioned by the angels.
SubhanAllah, what a wretched end, Brother Farouk.
A'udhu billahi min shaitan rajim. May Allah protect us from being anything like that. Unfortunately, we've run out of time today. Bi'idhnillah, we will carry on in the very next episode in this series, The Eternal Journey. Brothers and sisters, reflect upon what the Shaykh is saying. Imagine, just imagine. Use what Allah has given you. Imagine that is you. May Allah make us of those that are, blessed. Bi'idhnillah. I am Farouk. Join us again for the next episode very soon of The Eternal Journey. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah from me.
And assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala from me, your brother Hisham. Assalamu alaikum.
Imagine a day moving our way. Suffice to say we're not here to stay. The games we play, the fuss we make, the reason for living is made clear that day. The angels stand with no demands, 'cause they understand judgment's hand. Not a soul will speak, 'cause they are weak before the true authority.